Hi everyone, what's up? Jeff from GamerPops here. So I've been playing with the new Nintendo 3DS XL for a few days now. Here it is right here. You may have seen my unboxing video from a few days ago. I'll open it up for you so you can see it in all its glory. Ooh, Super Smash Brothers. So I want to give you my thoughts on the device now, and how well it delivers on what it promises, and if this really is the next great Nintendo handheld. So let's get right into it first and get into what I liked about it. Let's talk first about Super Stable 3D, which is probably my favorite new feature of the 3DS. So normally with the 3DS, if you are playing in 3D and you move your head or the 3DS, you'll lose the 3D image and there'll be some blind spots due to the nature of the screen. What we're seeing here, if you notice, the Super Smash Bros. Logo is kind of blurring in and out and changing. You'll notice see my head and the reflection there moving back and forth. As I move my head back and forth or the 3DS back and forth, you can actually see it is adjusting to where I am. And this results in a very stable 3D image no matter where I am. It's got a bit of a limited area of effectiveness, but it should be more than sufficient for pretty much anybody. I even had somebody watch the screen from the side while I move my head, and they're kind of seeing what you're seeing now. Really cool. And yes, it will track a kid's head movements as well. In fact, if there are too many heads in the area, then it will get confused and it may not work, so you may have to turn off for that. So next, let's talk about the feature that will probably have the greatest effect on actual gameplay, and that's the new C-stick/nub thing that you can see me using right now with my right thumb. In fact, in this case, I'm using it to switch between icons on my home screen so I can select Super Smash Brothers and get going with that. I do love this. I wasn't quite sure, but it's working out pretty well. In supporting games, this is going to be used like your typical right thumbstick on other consoles and controllers. That means, for example, in Super Smash Bros. For 3DS, you can use it to do quicker smash attacks, and in other games, you'll be able to use it as camera control. I'm using it for that very purpose in a game I can't quite tell you about right now, but from a hardware standpoint, I can tell you that it works really well, and it's such a welcome addition versus some of the more clunky camera interfaces we've had to use in the past for the 3DS. Now, note that it's not a true stick, but a pressure-sensitive nub like you see on certain laptop computers. So that means you're not going to get any tactile feedback whether you've pressed it properly and it's registered, instead of having to rely on the game reacting properly to find out whether it registered. And you're going to see me demonstrating that in this match against rather easy CPUs in Smash while I do a number of different Smash attacks. You see, I'm actually using the buttons. I'm just going to resort to purely Smash attacks for the purposes of this review. It could be limiting for when you need it for more twitchy actions, like maybe if you were playing a twin stick shooter, but overall I found it was accurate enough when I really needed it to be, and it ends up being a pretty decent design compromise considering that there's not a lot of space left on the interface here, as you can see, to integrate a right thumbstick without having to drastically alter the button locations, which is pretty key. So one of the things that doesn't necessarily get talked about as much with these is the new faster processor that's within the new 3DS. It's got twice the clock speed of the original units, and there's also more onboard memory. And it begins to pay immediate dividends, even if there aren't games right now that specifically take advantage of it. Besides helping power the 3D head tracking feature, which we've seen working already, it's definitely snappier, as we sometimes call it. I can attest to games and applications starting more quickly, and navigation does seem a lot more smooth. I'm going to show you a demonstration right now of starting up Super Smash Bros. For 3DS on the new 3DS versus my old launch 3DS unit. So here we have the two 3DSs, both running Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. Both updated the same version. There's the launch unit, my old unit on the left, and the new 3DS on the right. 3DS XL, obviously, because it's much bigger. So I'm going to press start on both of them right now at the same time. There we go. Already you see the Nintendo 3DS logo come up a lot quicker on the new 3DS XL. And there's the spinning Smash logo. As you see, there's still nothing on the old 3DS unit. And title screen right away. And you can see that we're still waiting for even the spinning ball to come up on the old 3DS unit. So, like I said, a lot faster than what I'm used to there. Now it's just starting to catch up to its older cousin or brother, as you will call it. Now I get my title screen. Note the different locations of the buttons. Note right away, even there, the stage selection screen comes up a lot faster, and the game starts just a little bit faster on the 3DS. So that's an example of just how much faster the new processing power makes the new 3DS. Another thing I liked was the auto screen brightness feature. Now, I wish I could show you this, but it just didn't look really... I couldn't get it to show up on video. I really can only see it with the naked eye. But I can tell you it's a really nice add-on that's not only going to help preserve battery life, but also prevent you from getting blasted with light in dark areas. So if all of a sudden the lights go off, you won't have it go... It'll automatically adjust the brightness down given the ambient light around you. I tested in this very room by turning these lights on and off, and sure enough, switching the lights on caused it to brighten up accordingly, and turning lights off caused it to adjust it's all done on the fly. This is something that you used to have to go into the settings menu to change, and it was just a pain in the butt. It's a cumbersome process on the 3DS. So this just made life a heck of a lot easier. Something that the jury is still out on is the NFC reader under the bottom screen of the device. It's designed to read your amiibo figures. Now, at the time of this review, no games, including Super Smash Bros. For 3DS, actually support the amiibo figures, though that should be coming in a February update. I'm going to show you what you can do right now, is you can register a nickname amiibo figure using the new 3DS, like I'm doing right now. This is exactly the same thing you do on the Wii. And, if you aren't making the jump to the new 3DS just yet, Nintendo is going to be making a peripheral as well that will let amiibo figures work with old 3DS systems. You see here, I'm just going to give Zelda a nice little friendly nickname there. There we go. And put it back on, and it's going to register their nickname, write it to the amiibo figure, and we're done. And now that's going to work in Smash Brothers for Wii U and eventually for 3DS. And that's how you do it. Now, given the amount of time I've spent with it, I'm inclined to say that battery life is somewhat improved in the new 3DS. It's not a light years type of jump, believe me, but I have found it notable, even if it seems about I can get maybe an extra hour out of the machine. Now, for an actual test, our friend Andy Robertson at Family Gamer TV put up a video on YouTube recently that actually compares all the members of the 3DS family, basically, in terms of battery life. And he actually found and showed that, yes, it does last longer than the old 3DS, although still not as long as the 2DS lasts. So go check out that video to see that test. It's really well done. I suspect this is probably because the battery is bigger in the machine, but results are still results. Though you're still not going to want to be too far away from a charging cable. Which brings us to now the things that I don't like as much. And look, I know I'm harping a lot, but we need to talk about the notable omission of this bad boy right here. The charging adapter. This is the first time that Nintendo are trying this in North America, having not packaged in charge cords with systems in other territories in the past. So this isn't new, but it's new for North America. I have to say I don't like it. It's one thing to not include, say, an HDMI cable with a home console if you're including a basic cable with it, though I will point out that Wii U, Xbox One, PlayStation 4 have all included HDMI cables at launch, bucking that trend. I mean, it still sucks, but it doesn't prevent you from using the device at all. I would think that something as necessary as a proprietary charging cable, no one else uses this, for a portable device would be a no-brainer pack in every single time. Make no mistake, this is a profit-boosting measure by Nintendo, no matter how they spin it, and one that really isn't cool. Now, if you're like our household, you got a bunch of these things lying around from our various 3DS, 2DS, and DSi consoles. Don't forget, that's when Nintendo made the jump to this type of plug-in. So if that's the case, it won't affect you as much. But for you first-timers or upgraders who are just upgrading from one unit, this is going to present a bit of an inconvenience. Now, you can buy it's basically battery sold separately, right? You can go buy this at whatever store for $9 to $20 depending where you are. I do hope Nintendo comes around and eventually repackages these things in. I'd personally rather have too many lying around than not enough. It also can hurt the people who want to trade in their 3DSs for credit towards a new one at certain stores, because you're not going to be able to keep your charger, so you're going to have to pay extra for new ones. So that's something to keep in mind. Let me talk for a minute about micro SD cards. So riddle me this. With pretty much the same form factor as the regular 3DS XL, same size, by the way, I have to charge it now, why did Nintendo have to move to the micro SD card? I go back to the battery size increasing and taking up more space inside as my theory for why. Regardless, I'm just going to show you the difference. We've gone from this which you used in the 3DS units before, to this tiny little guy right here. Now, given the rather onerous transfer process required to move to a new 3DS, changing to new format for storage adds just one extra complication, even if that new format is perhaps more appropriate for a mobile device like a 3DS. Fortunately, if the included 4GB card is enough storage for you, you may not have to worry as much about it. It's already in there behind the screwed in plate, whatever. It's all good. And if you don't download a lot of games, it might be a totally moot point. But in my case, I had too much. I had to replace the card, which means I had to replace everything. It would have been a lot easier to just take the old card, put in the new one, and do the transfer process that way, which is an option, but that just wasn't an option for me. So I might be in the minority here, but where's the regular size new 3DS? I like the regular size 3DS. You know, it was compact, it fit in the pocket nicely. I thought the screen was better. Now, I understand that, and I've read that maybe the regular size 3DS wasn't as big a seller in North America. So maybe that was behind the decision to go XL only in North America. I mean, just I'll make a note. There's the difference in the size between the two of them. Pretty massive units. It would have been nice to have a smaller and perhaps more importantly cheaper option, because this unit's a lot smaller and it's also a lot less expensive if you compare the price of a 3DS and 3DS XL, not the new ones, of course. So on to something else I've talked about before. The additions of a C-nub. Enhanced processing capability, all this stuff opens up opportunities for developers to build new games to take advantage of these features. That also means that said new games could end up being exclusive to the new 3DS. That introduces two big problems. One is fragmentation. So the new 3DS isn't an actual new console, it's just the latest member of the 3DS family, and thus you would expect all games in a family to be compatible across all devices in said family. But now you could have a situation where some new 3DS games don't work in the 3DS, 3DS XL, or this guy, the 2DS. Currently, say what you will about the 2DS, but it does play all 3DS games, just without the 3D and a few other things, and it's also cheaper. This is Gavin's unit, by the way, the 5-year-old. Perfect for him. You end up segmenting the user base and causing more confusion, which is the second big problem, and it's more of a problem for Nintendo than it is for users, although, yeah, it's a problem for both people, actually. It's not like Nintendo has had a lot of success lately keeping their consumers well informed about their various offerings. Questionable naming decisions have led to this. I mean, how many people didn't know that the Wii U was a brand new console versus a new accessory for the Wii? How many people still have trouble with DS versus DSi versus 3DS versus 3DS XL versus 2DS? The new 3DS. Is it a brand new console or an iteration of the old one? That one, like I said, is partly a Nintendo problem, but it's a problem for you parents and consumers who walk into a store and you're trying to figure out what, if any, portable gaming device you want to buy. So when it's all said and done, what do I think? Well, I think there are a few small warts, which I just talked about, many of which are more business related. But if we look at the device just purely on its own merits as a piece of technology, I think the new Nintendo 3DS XL is a great piece of kit that improves on its predecessor in notable ways. Think of it as the 3DS 2.0. I've actually really enjoyed the jump, which was not an easy task to pull off given my general ambivalence towards the XL unit. If you're looking to take your first dip into the 3DS pool, I think this is your best bet unless you can find a sweetheart deal on a regular unit. And I do expect to see a price drop at some point, given what the prices we've seen right now. For you upgraders, or considering upgrades, there are enough compelling reasons to consider making the jump, though I think a lot of it's going to depend on whether you plan on trading in or selling your old unit to help pay for the new one, and how much you can get for it, of course. I also wouldn't blame you if you just put the device on your radar for now while waiting for a sale or potential price drop down the line, especially once we start to see how many new games are actually going to be created that are going to be exclusive to the new 3DS. So if you want to wait and see, I can't blame you for doing that, because right now, besides the stuff I talked about, the processing power, the faster booting, that C-nub stick being usable in some games already, that there may not be a big reason to jump just yet. So that's a review of the new Nintendo 3DS XL. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some information. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below in the comment section. We value all feedback. And for other great videos, check out our channel using the buttons below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to find out when we post new content. Also, we have our website. Don't forget to check that out, www.gamerpops.com, if you haven't already. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.